Doug was on the main line leaving Orford. He was to find some parts for a workshop in the poop shed. Coming with him was Scratch. He was to help loop up the trucks. We met up at the other end of the river bridge. "Hello, Scratch. What are you doing today?" said Doug. "I'm heading to this junkyard in Port Arthur, Doug. It's new, and I haven't turned into the route that takes me to it," said Scratch. "It's a long way for me at least. I knew the long route. I'll meet you when we come to Dunalley again. They set off crudely the same, but different ways." We met at the highway in Cambridge till they separated and met again, the third time in Sorrel. Then it came to Dunalley with the hotel. "Hello, Scratch," said Dizzy, the little cement mixer. She was helping the opener with the new plane parts. "Hello, Dizzy. Just helping Doug with the parts for Orford," said Scratch, and off he shot. At last, we came to Port Arthur and went straight at once to the junkyard. Scratch was excited. He couldn't wait any longer. "Apart from parts, Doug, there's bound to be something you can make me at home," said Scratch. "We will, because it's gonna be a long day sorting out what can make piles so big," said Doug. "I can hook up the tracks quick as a job with care," said Scratch. But when we came to Palmer's old junkyard, we noticed every pile was too big. Their jobs were loading the trucks with parts to take away, but it looked like we were to take the rotten ones first to cook to a nearby shed. It was Noah's smelting one to melt the metal and make house things. A foreman walked up. "Oh, look, Doc, you might help with sorting this truck of rotten metal. Scratch or sort out the piles to find which part will get melted and which will cool," said the foreman. Doc had said it was going to be a long day, so Scratch thought perhaps making a pile beside the tow trucks. All he had to do was find what was rusty and not so rusty. "It's a slow procession, but there's no other way," said Scratch. And he started to separate, sort. He found less of the rusty parts put in the trucks from him, and he found more of the parts that weren't. Duck came up. "Eh?" "There's not much, Scratch. Where's more of the rusted parts?" he asked. "It looks like you'll have to wait for a minute. I don't think it's enough," said Scratch. "There must be more of them somewhere, but it'll take you all day to do what the foreman suggested." "I know. My buddy Benny will help. He's just visiting this yard to help Bob's team to get parts for their friend Jenny." About Benny arrived. "Hello, you two. Need a hand?" he said. "Yes, please, Benny. We'll help Duck while we help you find your separate parts for Jenny," said Scratch. "Let's get cracking." "I guess the trip won't be long," said Duck. And so the jobs were sorted. Every time the little diggers filled up a truck with scrap rusted metal. Doug shunted them into the smelting shed.
Is this one of them? Nah. It doesn't look rusted. Besides, that's the wrong piece. Good condition.
Once there wasn't a single of them left, there were new parts that were good for loose scrapping. Please. Pliny came steaming up with the fat controoper. I thought you were taking longer with the parts, Doc. What? He said. We were to take the rotten parts out of the pile, sir. One of them were new, and, well, I didn't want to put them in the smelting shed by mistake, said Doug. We couldn't manage it, so had Benny help us sort out the boot parts and tennis parts, said Scratch. One has got me all properly cleaned up. It seems you got the piles less high. Now you better take the parts cleanly or take them to Jenny. Doc delivered the parts and rested in the shed, glad to not do two things. Phew! I'm glad I don't have to go to market. It's a long way, he puffed.